and 16 through 25 here. If you were unable to do 1 through 15 on here, I would prioritize 16 to 25 so that everybody's on the same page tomorrow. If you can do both 1 through 15 and 16 to 25, great. If you have to prioritize one, prioritize 16 to 25 and question 2 here. Okay, are there questions on the homework for tomorrow? Okay, now let's go over common questions you want me to do from here. If there's anything you want me to do on here, that's great. And again, if you're not with me doing questions, then you're working on the homework / the questions you didn't do over the weekend. So, let's start. Who would like to see some questions tomorrow? Just let me know which ones. Shunli?
4.
Does anybody need anything before number 4? Leslie?
2.
Number 2. Okay, we'll start there. And those of you who did not do this, you may also want to be writing down how to do the problems. So number 2 is asking us which statement is true. And this is a piecewise function, so I'm looking at continuity. And what I notice right away is this piece, x is less than -2. This piece, x is greater than -2. But at neither point are they equal to -2. So the graph must be discontinuous at x equals -2. Discontinuous means I pick the pencil up. Why? Because neither of the pieces are ever equal to -2. So if f is discontinuous at -2, b has to be wrong and d has to be wrong. And now the question is, what about the other piece? Well, the other piece has this 1 and this 1. And we also know that for continuous, that means that the open and closed circles are at the same spot. All right, yeah, Yesenia? Yeah. So because so this piece right here, the top piece, is only defined where x is less than -2, and this piece is defined when x is bigger than -2. Neither piece is defined when x equals -2. So in other words, there is a hole at -2, which means I have to lift my pencil, which means it is not continuous at -2. Well, if we know for continuous functions that the open and closed circles need to be at the same spot, let's see where the open and closed circles are. So we have a closed circle right here on this piece right here, because this is equal to 1. So when I plug in 1, I'm going to get 4. So we have a closed circle at 1, 4, and we have an open circle. Plug in 1 down here, 6 minus 1 is 5. The open and closed circles are not at the same spot. So the function is also discontinuous at 1, because I have to lift my pencil. This picture looks something like this. Closed circle here, open circle here. Got to pick the pencil up to draw this. So the answer is E, discontinuous at both. Questions? Okay. Can you see number 1, Chip? You want me to model? Number 4, that's the next one that we're doing. So number 4 is a level 5 question. It is tough, but it's doable. So on number 4, again, if a function is continuous, all that means is that the open and closed circles are at the exact same spot. That's what we mean. So on number 4, we've got some open circles. Where? Well, there's an open circle here and a closed circle here. So let's deal with that. So we have an open circle at y equals a plus natural log of 2. and we have the closed circle on this piece, which is y equals b cosine pi over 4 times 2. So y equals b cosine of pi over 2. What is the cosine of pi over 2? One, 0. So the cosine of pi over 2 is 0. Pi over 2 is at the top of the circle. So again, let me just repeat what I said in the other class. I say this not to scare anybody, but just to be honest with you. If you don't know the unit circle, you should just write the ticket to repeating this class next year, for sure. Just write it now, stop working, and do everything for other classes, so you can make A's in there. Right? If you don't know the unit circle, this common assessment could be a 40%. You could make a 40 with a curve, which is the lowest possible score. You have to know the unit circle, folks. You have to. So ensure that you know it by next Tuesday. Do whatever you have to do to know it. So here, if the closed circle is at y equals 0, this open circle must also be at y equals 0. So now we just solve for a, minus natural log 2 on both sides. So we have negative natural log 2 equals a. So if negative natural log of 2 equals a, I can eliminate choices C and D. And now we need to perform the exact same analysis on this 8. Perform the exact same analysis on the 8. So the open circle for the 8 is up here on this middle piece. So y equals b cosine pi over 4 times 8. Y equals b cosine of 2 pi. The cosine of 2 pi is 1. Very good. So y equals b. Now the closed circle. The closed circle is this bottom piece. How do I know it's closed? Because that's where the function is greater than or equal to 8. So this is closed. Y equals 1 over b squared times 8. So y equals 8 over b squared. Because this function is continuous, this has to equal this. So this has to equal this. Which means that b over 1 has to equal 8 over b squared. This has to equal this. Cross multiply here. B cubed equals 8. B equals 2. Questions on... I'm on it. B equals 2, which is answer choice A. Questions on this one? What else? I will come back to number 1, but what else do we need? Okay, so, Yesenia? Number 8, okay. Okay, 8 is a nice algebra-heavy problem, which is probably why it was level 5. Okay, so number 8, you want to find the average rate of change. You got y equals tangent of x. Average rate of change equals y2 minus y1. Same formula as we have for slope. Remember, you can pick either one as x2 and either one as x1. I'll call the pi over 3 as x2, and I'll call the negative pi over 3 as x1. And this was without the calculator, please note. Tan pi over 3 minus tan negative pi over 3. Now we just need to simplify. So tan pi over 3, well, let's first simplify the bottom. It's a bit easier to simplify. So pi over 3 minus negative pi over 3 is 2 pi over 3. And I've got tan pi over 3 minus tan negative pi over 3. So I'll be very honest, I don't know what the tangent of pi over 3 is off the top of my head. I just don't, I have not memorized it. But I do know that tangent equals sine over cosine. That I do know. So I can rewrite the numerator as the following. AROC equals sine pi over 3 divided by cosine pi over 3 minus sine negative pi over 3 over cosine negative pi over 3, all divided by 2 pi over 3. And since I know the unit circle, this can be filled in. Since I know the unit circle, the upstairs can now be filled in with regular numbers. So when I do that, here's what I get. Please verify. Please verify you're getting this. So now upstairs, you want to get this to be one fraction, you want to get this to be one fraction. Fraction divided by fraction, you got to keep, change, flip. Let me focus on the numerator first, forget the denominator for a sec. Keep, change, flip, minus, keep, change, flip. So here's the numerator simplified. And now you want to do, remember the numerator, it was all divided by this. Alright, fraction divided by fraction. Keep, change, flip. Answer choice B, I think. Questions? A lot of algebra. The key is doing it in big font on separate sheets of paper, being clean about it. So what else do we need to see? What else? Which one do you not think is true, Brianna? Okay, let me look at one real quick. Which statement on one, Chepe?
Statement 1 is true.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Zoom in on it, and it stops increasing it at 10.7, because that's where the maximum is. The maximum occurs, the maximum profit is at 10.7 months, and then it starts decreasing after that. Oh boy,